Hello, my beautiful fragrance family. Dustin here, fragrance fan. Go ahead and do me a solid and click that like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell notification. And I'm just going to keep on bringing you guys these budget-friendly fragrance reviews. That 40-ish and under $1 range, and most of these are way less than that. A good number of these you can find at your local rack stores. I found this one at my local Marshall's for like $7, and that's because it was marked down. I talked them into marking it down because there was a small bit of juice missing, no cap, and no atomizer. But I got plenty of atomizers to choose from, so I figured, what the heck, y'all have been talking about this thing, or you used to be. I used to see it all the time. There's just my reasons for picking this one up, and I'm talking about the classic 1987 aromatic release of Lomani Pour Homme. So stay tuned and see what I have to say about this old school fragrance. So Lomani Pour Homme, like I said, is a 1987 aromatic release. A lot of people compare this fragrance to Drakkar Noir, and they wouldn't be totally wrong because it does bear a whole lot of similarities, more similarities than differences to Drakkar, as do I feel like a lot of these 1980s type of a fragrance. Even some of the 70s and early 90s, they kind of have this same scent profile with their little differences, much like today. There's a lot of similar fragrances to Invictus and stuff like that. So it's just the era, right? So what can you expect if you decide to get your nose on this thing and or purchase it? It's going to open up with some fresh, crisp, bright, tart lemon and a good combination of some green, woody, resinous rosemary. After that, you get a little bit of some of that clove, that warm, spicy, distantly smoky clove. Some masculine, dirty, earthy moss. And to me, patchouli sometimes has a bit of a moist, earthy kind of underlying tone to it. So there's the moss and the patchouli, and it's fresh, spicy, woody, opening with that bright lemon. So it's very green, it's very herbaceous, woody, spicy, masculine, bold. 100% man in a bottle kind of a fragrance. Most of these 80s fragrances are like that. Even the sweet ones, like Stetson is kind of sweet. It's still like a bold, masculine scent profile. So these old school fragrances, I think, kind of lean on that classier side. Maybe that's just me being biased because I associate, a more mature man being classier, being more head of the business meeting type thing. So that's what kind of fragrance is in this, is in Drakkar, is in Houston, because it takes a bit of confidence to wear this, especially if you're a youth. I can't say that no youth is going to like this. So when I say something is more mature than it is youthful, I emphasize that word more mature. That just means more often than not, more mature people are going to gravitate towards it than your youth. But there are exceptions to where a lot of youth, they'll like Brut, Drakkar, stuff like this. So I say this works a little bit better in the cooler weather. Even though it opens up, it has that fresh, bright lemon. It's even got some bergamot in there. It's still heavy and a little bit too dense, I think, for the hot weather. It'll do okay, but I think this is more towards the cooler weather. Right now, this November and stuff, this is probably the perfect season for this fragrance. Works in the daytime, works in the evening, but I think it's kind of a little bit more of a daytime fragrance because of that sparkly freshness that's up top. Overall performance is not as good as I thought it was going to be. A lot of people said this thing is a beast. It's the Drakkar that you want because it's that old school smell, the old school Drakkar that just pushes off for hours. It didn't for me. It had a decent scent bubble for an hour, and then it shrunk way back. It held on for a strong 5 to 6 hours. So it was a strong 5 hour, like strong average, like a strong average as far as overall longevity. But my scent bubble, I would say, was a little less than average, which kind of stinks because I kept reapplying it. But I got it for $7, and it was a good buy as far as that goes. You see the juice level. I've been using this thing I've been wearing it. I had to find an atomizer from something else, and I had to find it from one that I'm not going to really be wearing a lot, because it's annoying to take this off and put it on another, and then you got to squirt it like 1 or 2 times, I feel like. Otherwise you're like mixing what's in there. So yeah, I was able to, and it's harder than you'd think to find an atomizer that actually matches up. Anyhow, so as far as the seasons, like I said, where was I at? Longevity. There we are. Yeah, it just didn't perform the way that I really wanted to. The differences between this and Drakkar is I think Drakkar leans a little bit more on the darker wood pine green thing, whereas this is a little bit leaning heavier on like the lemon, the crispy lemon and rosemary. Like, that's just me. That's what I feel. Other than that, they're pretty similar. Like I said, there's more similarities than differences between the two, but they are a little bit different, but not so much to where it's borderline redundant to own both of them. So I have that Drakkar, I have this one, I have the classic match. I think the classic match is better than all 3 of them because it actually performs really good and smells like the old school Drakkar. Overall, my rating on this one will be, this like has been a theme for the last couple fragrances. I hope that this isn't like a habit for these things to fall into the 5 category, because I will give this one a 5. This scent profile is probably a 5.5, maybe even a 6. And like I said, overall longevity is decent. It's just that scent bubble is kind of a pet peeve of mine. I don't want a fragrance that lasts 12 hours, but it doesn't push off any farther than this. If I got a strong fragrance, if I got a fragrance that lasts only 4 hours, but it gives me that big scent bubble for that whole 4 hours, that's way better in my opinion, because I want to enjoy that thing. I don't want to have to smell my hand. What's the point in that? You know, I want to be able to smell that thing. I want to enjoy it, live it. So 5 out of 10, masculine, green, woody, fresh, spicy, some of that crisp, tart lemon right up in the top. Scent profile, I love these kind of fragrances. These kind of green, woody, spicy, barbershop type of a smell. So yeah, I finally checked this one out. Had it for a little while, wore it for a little while, giving you guys a review and my final thoughts on Lomani's Pour Homme. With that, I'm out. Y'all be blessed. Take care of yourself always, and until next time.